everyone, this is the Rooted Rising Initiative. My name is John Dick Perfect and welcome to the Voice of the Frontline. Today I'm very excited about the Woman Crush to Wednesday, although it's a sad tale. We have in the room the sensational Sharon. Sharon Chiahemen is a seasoned climate change leader, public speaker, and trainer with over 7 years of experience spearheading high-impact projects that drive social change. She served as the only Nigerian facilitator at the U.S. Exchange Global Ties Young Eco Stars program, working with 60 students from Nigeria, Indonesia, and the USA, and has played a key role in the Climate Education Leaders Fellowship, CELF, mentoring young African climate leaders from 24 African countries in the 2024 and 2025 Eco Champions Fellowship. Our work spans impactful campaigns, cleanup, tree planting initiatives, and thought leadership on climate issues, reaching thousands both online and offline. She has been a speaker at several high profile industry events and has been featured in numerous local and international media. So, welcome, Sharon. Welcome to the show. For those who don't know Sharon, if you go to her Instagram, you discover that she's not just a climate activist, she's not just a climate actor, she's using content creation to actually highlight the climate crisis and educate people in a way that is very simple and interesting. And that is one thing I love about her. I was thinking that I was very good with content creation, but when I saw Sharon and all the energy, I had to just take the back seat. Yeah, so welcome to the show. Welcome
Thank
to
you so
Rooted
much,
Rising.
Perfect. Nice to meet you finally in person.
Finally, yeah. So this is the first time we're actually meeting in person, and that's the good thing about technology, right? Because we're able to connect on social media. Talk to people. You know the work that they do,
Yes.
and then
And you feel like you know them in
yes,
real life.
you just feel like you know them. That's a great thing. So we are talking about ecofeminism, and we just want you to tell the audience what ecofeminism really is. What is your take on ecofeminism? Because this term is something that people have not been able to dissect. So what's your take, Charlotte?
Okay, so thank you so much for having me once again.
You're welcome.
One of my strong, should I say strong powers or strong characteristics is that I'm able to break things down for everyone to understand. That's why I use content for advocating for social impact issues. So we're going to break it down. So ecofeminism comes from two separate problems that have been joined together.
Okay.
Many people are already familiar with feminism. I know that some people are already turning in their seats, convulsing in the mouth, shaking, because when they hear feminism, they think of angry men shouting, "We hate men," and
exactly,
and all of that. Now, no matter how you want to sugarcoat it, no matter the word you want to use, whether you want to use equity or equality, but it's about making sure that women have as much as the right that men also have.
Yes,
and we're not talking about things that are so far-fetched or even very difficult terms. Simple things like even access and right to education, healthcare. You'll be shocked when you begin to see a lot of stories around the globe. I know some people that fight feminism is because they're in their bubble. They're like, well, my brothers and I both went to school. My dad did not say, oh, as a girl, I cannot go. But feminism or what we're fighting against is so ingrained in the little things. And when you see the situations in countries, even in Africa, let's not even, I wanted to mention like Middle Eastern and other parts of the world, but that's a situation for another day. So feminism is basically just saying that please don't treat women as less than just because they are women. That's just it. However you want to interpret it, whether in the workplace, in terms of family, school, whatever it is, just make sure the reason you're not treating her well is because she's a woman. Now, like before the camera started rolling, you're like, I'm very sure Sharon is a feminist. I don't even need to ask.
Yes, I need to ask. I mean, so when you see feminists, you know them, right?
So I never identified myself as a feminist. I just knew that growing up, I was always known as the stubborn female child that my parents had. I was just very strong-willed. Like, you're telling me my brother can go and play. Why? Like, I was just saying, why? Is it because he's a boy? And I started asking, is it because he's a boy? Is it because I'm a girl? Right from when I was younger. And then I got into the climate change space, and I didn't realize that there was something called ecofeminism, because I'm like, climate change is affecting all of us. Like, is it really different? I started going into the field. There are two types of climate activists. Those of us that have not even gone into the field. Those that when you go into the field, you see things that are are not they're written in fine print. I realize that, oh my god,
related to the story.
So I'm very sure you've heard the statistics, or you've heard the saying that women are more affected by climate issues, and this is not even the time we cannot even break that down, the statistics, the specific situations, but women are really more affected by climate change, when it comes to flooding, when it
Mm-hmm.
comes to any adverse climate change situation or disaster. Women and young children are mostly affected. So ecofeminism means that when you are solving climate problems, involve women,
Okay.
not just, oh, we're going to save the women and the girls first. Women are not always victims. They can be victims, and they are
Yes, of
also,
course.
they are also custodians of many of the climate solutions that the world is enjoying now.
Okay.
So two ways, ecofeminism is two ways. Make sure that women as the victims are taken care of. They are given the justice that
That they deserve.
they deserve. And number two, make sure you involve them in the decision making tables. People that are the most
Okay.
affected, they should also be a part of
Yes,
the
because they
solution. So it's
come,
both ways.
they have the power now to tell you, okay, this is where I'm mostly affected. You
Affected.
can't just draft a policy for them that they are
Mm-hmm.
not involved
They are
in.
not involved
Thank
in.
you so much, Sharon. That was really, really explanatory. I think
Mm-hmm.
people are able to understand that ecofeminism is the intersection between environmental issues and
Yes.
women, right? How they intersect with each
Yes.
other.
Yeah.
So you're fighting for women's rights, and also you're actually fighting for the rights of women that are actually affected by
Affected.
the climate crisis. Thank you so much, Sharon. That is really, really inspiring, and I think it's actually very
Yeah.
revolutionary
Thank you.
for most people. The next question would be, how are young girls, people like, I know you're a Gen Z, I don't need to be told. How are young girls leading the climate movement? I mean, I've seen a lot of girls on social media, bosses of little initiatives and NGOs. So I just want to know from your own perspective, especially here in Abuja, if there's a
Yeah.
movement, there's a coalition of ladies that are actually, championing the climate crisis, and how is that going?
I love that question so much. I love that you're even being specific to Abuja.
Yes.
Now, the funny thing is that when you think of climate change is very broad. Let's start
Okay.
from there. So everybody is working on a different area, whether it's climate education, climate advocacy. They're just different. You already know
Yes,
different things that
yes.
has to do with climate finance, the
Exactly.
ones that are working on policy, the ones that and all of that. But let's even look at the one that comes to people's mind, the most common form of climate
Chemistry.
activism. Educating people, going out in the street, tree
Creating
planting.
awareness
When
and
you
all of
even
that.
look at the pictures alone, let's even start from just the numbers. When you look at the pictures of all those matches that we don't are saying, what do we want? Climate justice, when do we want it now? You know that the
Yes.
population of women in that
There's
match
more than
are
the
more than
men.
the men. When I
Yeah.
call for tree planting, when I say, oh, we're going to, I remember one time in partnership with Embassy of Sweden, I went to clean the national stadium in Abuja. And I was
Okay.
thinking because we're doing it like a plug-in, meaning that they're going to be jogging and picking up. I was thinking because it's more physically intensive, more men will show up than
Oh,
women. But
okay.
more women came out
And you were
than the men.
surprised.
And the point was that the women, women, we have a way of dragging each other. So the girls will say, oh, I'm going this Saturday, I'm going for
And
this.
that is the
And then
problem.
all their
Women are
friends,
just natural caregivers, right? So they would
caregivers,
always want to
yeah.
do things that, and they actually interact with the environment more. So if you hear a cleanup here, a woman
Mm-hmm.
is always there because she knows how the environment actually helps her. So
Yeah.
I'm not surprised that you got more
So
women.
let me just be specific and just mention like a few women that I know are doing amazing things in
Okay.
Abuja. We have Rita Idehai of
Okay.
Eco-Bata. Eco-Bata is like Abuja's one of Abuja's most popular waste recycling companies, and they've done something
Okay.
amazing where they've created a reverse vending machine, which is like an ATM for plastic. You put in your
Okay.
plastic bottles, you get points. You can withdraw those points as money, use them
Okay.
for recharge card
Wow.
or pay for your light bills or whatever. And that's a woman
So sorry,
championing
we
that
had this
heavy.
conversation during our hangout, our climate justice
Yes,
hangout.
yeah.
I didn't know it's already happening.
That's already happening in Abuja. If you go to many places in Abuja, you go to the UN house, you go to the National Assembly, you go to some embassies in Abuja, you see the reverse vending
Wow.
machine. Then we have the global Temila De Salami, who's one of
I know. No,
she
Temi.
works in policy and education. I mean,
Yeah.
she started Eco Champions, was mostly the work was in Abuja and Lagos, but it's founded by a woman.
Okay.
We have there are so many Chanja that is also founded by a woman. Many of the containers you see around Abuja where people can like recycling centers drop off is owned by a
A
woman.
woman.
Yeah,
Yes.
so we have so many of those
And we also have
initiatives and
informal
solutions.
Malo, right? In
Yes,
Abuja.
yes, so many people
Well, that's good to
that
know.
are
And this is
women
a shout out to all the women doing great work in Abuja.
doing the
And
heavy
also
lifting.
Sharon. I don't know why she has excluded herself from that
I mean,
number.
I don't need to talk.
Thank you so much. Really appreciate what you do. We see you, and we also pray that the work that you do will speak volume, and also you get the change that you're actually fighting
Yeah.
for. So, Sharon, this will be the last question.
Okay.
What has been your experience? I know we've talked about your work. You
Mhm.
know, you just shared with us,
Yeah.
but what has really been your experience? What are the challenges? What has been your fight? Have you had times when you said, "Oh, this is not even worth it. I mean, I should
Mhm.
be doing something else." So, just share with us.
Hmm. Okay, so let me start from the very beginning. How I even got into climate
Okay, I
change.
think that would be the best
Yeah, so a
part to
friend of
start.
mine, a male, I attended University of Ilorin, and he was applying for um a pitch competition, and his solution had to do with waste management. And he's very introverted, and he needed somebody that could go and talk. I mean,
Oh,
I came out of my mother's womb talking, so I like to talk. I wanted to read about the solution and the problem. So I know what I'm going there to go and see. And that's how I went into the rabbit hole of waste management, environmental sustainability, climate change. And let's just say I became obsessed. Like I was just
okay.
shocked because before then, for instance, for little things like when you throw something away, I always thought that I was throwing my debt away. It's just going
Yeah,
somewhere,
but they
but I
don't
never
really
thought,
go
where is the
away, right?
away? And all of those. So I was looking at a lot of statistics and a lot of problems that
Hmm.
I never knew existed before then. So I think I was just born again. I was wondering
So it
why.
literally gave you the opportunity to
Yes.
learn.
So I was like, why is everybody around me not bothered by this? So I started on campus. I reached out
Okay.
to everybody I knew. And one of the first people to receive me was Rita Idehai of Ecobata. She really held my hand, told me the
Wow.
different thematic areas of climate change, the different things you can do. You can be a social entrepreneur, you can be an advocate, you can be on the policy side, you can be on the financing side, you can be on the negotiation side. So there are different things you can do. And one of my funny challenges was that I used to pick plastic bottles to go and recycle. And one day my father said he would send me out of his house because the entire house was filled with plastic
Oh my
bottles. Yeah.
God.
So, but the real, that's a funny challenge. But one of the real challenges was when I first started, and even now people would tell me, oh, climate change is an Oyibo problem. It doesn't
Okay, this
affect
they
us in
still say it up
Nigeria.
to
Yeah.
this time. Yeah.
I mean, we don't have tornadoes, we don't have all of those things. But I'm like, by 2025, you should still not be saying that the heat wave that is
That is
pressing
already
your neck
ravaging.
and the
Yeah.
flooding in places that we've never had flooding before should tell you that something is happening. And so to break it down, to summarize it, one of my biggest challenges was the gap in education. And even when you went online to get materials to teach people, the statistics, the figures, the stories were not tailored to the
Okay.
Nigerian audience. So you're looking for people who are doing work in climate change. You're seeing our counterparts in the
Foreign people.
West, the
Yeah.
Gretas and the rest. You're not seeing Nigerian examples. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to break down this climate change theme so that my Nigerian brothers and sisters can understand that it's not one
Understand.
kind of big science. It's just that
That is not an Oyibo
no, it's
thing.
not an Oyibo thing. It's something that is affecting us. And before you say, oh, we've always had flooding and drought, climate change is talking about the intensity and the rate of occurrence.
Exactly.
When last did it happen this much, this bad, for this long?
Because most of we say it exacerbates the
Yes, it's as
existing
very
issues.
yes,
So it's not
they
like those
already
things have
existed,
not been
but
there before.
yeah, they are happening in places that we never even knew that they were going to
Yes,
happen.
they
They
are
are
going to
lasting
happen.
longer than they used to last before. So my biggest challenge is the education gap, making sure people understand. Because if you don't understand, they can't take action. If they
Exactly.
don't
So
believe
I
it's
would
a
also
problem,
want
they
to
can't take
recommend that
action.
as you're trying to educate, maybe you can bring down the concept of climate change. Probably you could use it. You can exchange with words like environmental
Yes.
issues. I think that's what they
So I
can
use a
relate to
lot of
more.
when I'm doing my content, I talk about environmental sustainability more than I mention climate
Climate, yeah, because
change.
I think the climate is the issue. Most of the people
Yes,
climate like climate change is a scam. You
yes,
guys are
all
just
of those
talking. But
things.
when you
The
tell them environmental issues,
propaganda.
yeah.
Yeah.
So thank you so much for sharing your experiences. This is not part of the question, but I just wanted to know what is specific in Abuja. So for the Niger Delta, we're always talking about oil extraction
Mm-hmm.
exacerbating our issues. So what is really specific for you guys? Because for us, it's like oil spills issues, contamination of our
Mm-hmm.
water bodies, our livelihood. So what is specific in Abuja? Is it just the weather? Is it just heat waves? I mean, or is there any emerging threats that is actually coming?
Okay, so one of the first things you mentioned is the heat wave, which is at the top of the list. Abuja can be
It's very
very,
hot,
very
yes.
hot and it's getting worse. Number two, because of the rapid urban development we're having, everywhere you
Okay,
turn, luxury real estate,
exactly.
yeah, all of those things. As urban development is coming, you turn this side. There used to be like a park or a garden with trees
Okay.
and everything. They've disappeared and they are replaced with real estate with gravel or interlocks. So we're losing our biodiversity. Another thing is waste management. I mean, when you have an urban or semi-urban community like Abuja that is fast growing, waste management is a very big problem. And in the West, when you have a city the size of Abuja or the economic value of Abuja, the waste management problem is usually handled by the public sector, the government. So
Okay,
you
yeah,
have
that's
those.
correct.
But in Abuja, every recycling, almost every recycling, let's say 90%, is the private sector.
Oh, really?
I mean, ask anybody, call five people in Abuja, ask them, where do you recycle? If they even recycle, they'll tell you, they'll mention those ones I mentioned, Eco
Okay,
Bata, Chanja
okay.
Dati, Trash Monger, and all of these people I mentioned that the most
Are just
popular, they are
private. So the
private
government does
sector.
not have their own
Yes, so because of that, the rate of semi or informal waste management, that's the waste pickers and the ones that recycle, is at a high level. So you see them even when they pick up things like e-waste, batteries and the rest, they are burning them so that they can extract those precious
so
parts of
it's
it.
causing more
It's
problems.
causing more problems, health
Exactly.
challenges and the rest. And we're not as bad as Lagos, so our gutters don't smell that
We are not trying
much.
to compare whether
Yeah.
it is Lagos, whether it
Or
is
whatever, but
whether it is Abuja.
waste management is I think the public sector in Abuja needs to step in.
To step in,
The
yeah. I
private
mean,
sector is doing
for
too
us in
much
Port Harcourt,
and
we
it's not
have
enough.
the government has is
Mm-hmm.
responsible, but it's funny how they approved dump site actually the median, on major
Yeah, on the
roads.
major
Yes, that's
roads,
what
yeah.
happens in Port
Actually,
Harcourt.
that one we see that one on the outskirts of Abuja when you start going like
So
towards
it
the
doesn't
outskirts.
even
That's when you
matter whether
see.
it's the private sector
So,
or the
oh
government
yeah,
that is managing these things. The thing is, people should just be responsible.
responsible for waste
Yes. So
management.
thank you so much, Sharon. It's been a very interesting session. I want you all to know that women are affected in so many ways, and
And they have solutions. We're not just victims. We also
yes.
have solutions.
So what do you think women can do in terms of land grabbing to that is actually causing biodiversity loss? I actually admire Abuja a lot because of the tree planting and
Mm-hmm.
everything, but it's like we are losing this into real estate and all that. So what do you think? Can women step in to mitigate this issue?
So, for women, when it comes to the real estate being one of the major real estate and our roads, we're
Yeah,
doing lots of beautiful roads, and to do the roads, you have to,
yeah, you have to cut down
and all of
trees.
those things. But because that sector is occupied by just very few women in relation to men, people
Okay,
that own real estate companies and construction companies,
amen.
they are more
The people that
men.
have kept us in this
Yeah,
problem are
yes,
also men.
yeah, men are always the problem. So there are more men than women in that sector. So what I feel is, for most women, we do a lot of advocacy education, but policy is one
Very
neglected part.
important. Yeah.
Policies, if there's a policy that says, oh, if you cut down so square meter of trees to build your estate, you have to plant back maybe this, or you have to leave this particular policies like that, or rules or laws like that. So if even if women are not majorly the ones that own the construction companies and the real estate companies, we should go into the policy making, the
Exactly.
climate law and all of that, and education, because sometimes these people actually don't know. You assume that everybody knows that,
Exactly.
oh, so we
That's
need
true.
to more awareness and advocacy so that they can make the right choice when they are developing. So you develop, but not at the expense of the future.
Exactly. Thank you so
Yeah,
much, Sharon.
thank you.
So Sharon is recommending that more women go into politics so we don't carry placards forever. So this is
Mm.
sensational Sharon, and you can find her on Instagram, LinkedIn, and TikTok. Are you
Facebook.
on
No,
TikTok?
my
Facebook.
TikTok
Just type
is for
sensational Sharon. She has a
mhm.
lot to give out. I mean, you can follow her content. You see the work that she does. The places she goes to. So that you can actually connect with her,
Learn more.
especially if
Yeah.
you're in Abuja, and join her in doing the advocacy. So because this space actually need more women, more girls, and also this is also a call to men to do better and also join us in championing the change against gender inequality and the issues are
Mhm.
actually affecting women because of course it's the women that give birth to you. So thank you so much, Sharon. And this is a wrap on the Woman Crush to Wednesday. See you next time.
Bye.